All right, next up, live from the PGA Show floor on the course of life here. Really cool guest I've been following for a long time in my game of golf life here. He is a longtime contributing editor, Mr. Style, Marty Hackel himself. Marty, how are you doing today?
Doing great because I'm doing a lot of shopping.
You are. Yes, that's right. I mean, this is a shopper's heaven. For people who haven't been to the PGA Show, describe the ubiquitousness of fashion brands that are on display here in the game of golf.
Everyone who's anyone is here showing their new stuff. And it's really exciting. And the other part that's brilliant are the number of people that are here this year, Alex. This place is packed.
It took off from last year. Last year was my first show, so that was my context, which is a bit of a trimmed down show. This is absolutely the real deal, I've been saying.
Yeah, this is the way, and you'll hear this a lot.
Yep.
This is the way it used to be years ago. You couldn't even walk down the aisle.
It's great to see the growth indeed, and obviously not only in the game of golf, but the fashion of the game as well too. You're always known for being a dapper dresser yourself. Very nice, subtle, understated look here. I'm appreciating it. Walk through the outfit for our listening audience who can't see it on video.
It's sort of a shirt jacket that I think is the new style rather than get dressed up in a suit. Sid Mashburn, always doing great stuff. He's got a bunch of stores around the country. Atlanta, Houston, L.A.
Love it.
Really cool. And, of course, some polo, some fun shoes.
Classics.
Just comfortable is really what's the keynote because we're really working. So we want to be comfortable in those clothes. And, my ground rule, Alex, is if you have to look in the mirror for longer than 5 seconds, go change.
Good rule of thumb indeed. I like that. Let's talk about what looking in the mirror looks like for golfers and how that's evolved. You have been very ahead of the curve on golf fashion and its importance in the game and its place in the game. And talk to me about what that was like at the beginning, convincing executives and TV networks and publications to cover more fashion in the game of golf.
When I started, Alex, at Golf Digest 20 years ago as the fashion director, people looked at me and said, "You're the what?"
Yeah.
Fashion?
It's an interesting title
director?
back then. Yeah, it is.
And no one really knew what the heck that meant. And here's what it meant to me then and what it still means to me now. And this was really what Golf Digest really took a step ahead of everyone and said, you know what? Look good, feel good, play good.
Love that.
And what we want to do as sort of the fashionistas of the business is we want to help people look as good as they can look. And that's always been my goal, is to be able to encourage people to look as good as they can look. And boy, we've had some specimens out there that have come a long way.
They have. Yeah, let's talk about the GOAT specimen as well too, because I know you've had some interesting interactions with Mr. Tiger Woods himself back in the day, styling him for different shoots. I want to hear specifically about his fashion evolution, because if you remember the early Tiger days, they are like night and day to the way he dresses himself now. Talk to me what you remember most about those earliest interactions with Tiger.
Alex, if you look at those old photographs of Tiger, what you'll see is sort of the MC Hammer look, where those pants were huge.
Massive.
You know, and
flopping in the wind.
I don't blame Michael Jordan, but I think Michael had a little bit of influence over Tiger.
Right.
Tiger had some pants made there. Of course, Nike has always made his clothing, and they've worked diligently to encourage him, along with me, to get a better fit. And I'll tell you what, when you're working with someone in photography and you get to see them take their shirt off and you get to see their physique, and if anyone's ever seen Tiger Woods with his shirt off, trust me, it's a scary look. This guy has shoulders that go forever and there's no waist. So he looks like a Greek god in the gym. And I always felt, hey, Tiger, let's encourage that look. Let's try to make you look a little bit more athletic. Now, in the beginning, Earl never wanted to spend money on clothes.
Okay.
So Earl gave Tiger his shirts. Now, Earl was an extra large. Tiger was never an extra large, but that was familiar. And a lot of times we do things style-wise because they're familiar, so we get comfortable with that look.
Yeah. Very cool. Very good perspective. So I guess he eventually thinned out the pants. He got to the form fit. How long was the turnaround time after you maybe spoke with him until he started adopting your ways?
Probably, I think it took 2 or 3 years. And Amy Reynolds at Nike, thank you very much for supporting all of this, because you were the biggest influence.
Love that. Well said. Marty Hackel, Mr. Style, joining us here live on the PGA Show floor. So let's talk about the evolution of fashion specifically on the tour. And I know you have always been, you're not today, but you've always been big on some bright colors. Brightness has really hit a lot in recent years, too. Talk to me about just what fashion looks like on the modern day tour.
You know, a lot of times I tell people, dress how you feel. You know, if you get up in the morning and you've got a lot of energy and you feel great, then, you know, roll the dice a little bit. Have some fun.
Yeah.
Now, don't complicate things and get jazzy with everything. Pick one thing to get jazzy about. Maybe it's a belt. Maybe it's a color of your trousers. Maybe it's your shirt. Maybe it's your hat. You don't have to go all out and do everything.
Yeah, well said. I appreciate that. And one guy who I want you to talk about on the game who has done a very good job of maturing his style, I think, is Ricky Fowler. He started off with lots of the biggest, boldest, brightest colors, but then over the years, I think we've seen a little bit more of a toned down look as he's matured with age. Talk to me about how that style journey evolves golfers over the decades with age.
Well, you know, once again, if you look at photographs of Ricky Fowler when he was at Oklahoma State and made it to the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, and you look at those orange pants that he wore on Sunday,
he did.
Those things, a family could live in those pants.
They were rather large. That's right.
So over the years, you know, and I think Puma did an excellent job with them, and they really worked with them. They got the fit down perfectly, and Rory became very, very comfortable getting sort of, you know, dressed with some style and had a huge influence. You know, he was the first guy that I remember that wore a shirt out in Hawaii at Kapalua, and he looked terrific. This year we saw J.J. Spawn do that.
You read my notes, Marty, because I was going to ask you about the untucked shirt from J.J. Spawn.
And you know what? The untucked shirt is perfectly acceptable at the right place, at the right time, if it fits. And fit is very important here. The front of the shirt and the back of the shirt have to be the same length. An untucked shirt should be slightly shorter than a traditional length of a shirt. But I think at the right time and the right place, it's perfectly fine. So I don't think that clubs around the country should universally say, okay, it's good for everyone. Let's let this evolve a little bit.
Yeah, there is some context, exactly, to when you can break out certain athletes. I appreciate that. Give me an example of maybe a tour player or two that we haven't brought up yet that you really enjoy their style or you're seeing a lot from them from a fashion perspective that you think is going to kind of move golf fashion forward.
Well, one of the people I see when I go to Sid Mashburn and I shop is Keith Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
And I think Keith Mitchell is great. Yes, a Georgia guy. And everything that he wears is 100%. It's 100% cotton. It's 100% wool. And he always looks stylish. And he wears that visor. So maybe the visor's coming back, Alex.
Interesting. Wow. Okay, I haven't thought about that. I haven't worn a visor in 15, 20 years. Is it my time, maybe?
Yes, maybe. Start thinking about that.
Okay, I will. All right. And then on the other side as well, too, there are a ton of women's golf fashion brands here at the PGA Show. And the fashion evolution on the LPGA has been really neat in recent years as well, too. Who strikes you out there on the women's circuit that dresses particularly nicely?
Well,
It's hard to pick one or two, but
Danielle King always looks great.
Mm.
And here at the show, we've seen, a lot of great women's collections. Foray Golf always looks good. I think Ralph Lauren and RLX for women is terrific. Peter Millar. There are tons of good people now making women's stuff.
Yeah, Danielle Kang definitely moving it for sure. All right, let's do some quick yes or no's here with Mr. Style, Marty Hackel, live at the PGA Show. You already got to the untucked shirt. Right time, right place. It's okay. The next one is the hat backwards on the golf course. Where do we stand on that?
Not on the golf course. Definitely off your head when you're indoors. But I think occasionally, right time, right place, it's okay. No worries. I've worn my hat backwards at times.
Okay. Yeah, and I think the 19th hole, you're right. There is something, I appreciate the idea of taking it off there.
And if it's windy, Alex, sometimes you need it.
Yeah, the wind prevention.
You do need it backwards.
No.
And when I play Butler, the par 3 course in Austin, Texas, I definitely wear my hat backwards there.
My favorite. It's funny, sort of going for full circle. I just saw Keith Mitchell play in the Tito Shorty's Classic there at Butler. So he had a fun time and a fun afternoon there.
Yeah.
It's good to see his fashion as well, too. The next one I wanted to ask about, which is everywhere, what I'm wearing right now, joggers, hoodies, the modern day kind of tracksuit golf outfit that we're seeing a lot on the tour. Where does that stand with you?
Well, I think comfortable technical fabric is great, Alex. And joggers are good for people that are comfortable wearing joggers. And once again, if you have to look in the mirror for longer than 10 seconds and asking yourself, is this okay? It probably isn't. So please go change.
Wait.
Now, Sam Ryder, I think, looks great in joggers.
Watching him this week. Yeah, he does. 5 seconds or 10 seconds on that mirror check? What was that?
Could be 5 to 10.
All right, I'll go 7.5. Split the difference.
Okay.
Love it. And then denim jeans is the last one. Do those belong on the course?
Denim jeans are great. Probably not on a golf course.
Fair enough. Yeah. I don't think I've ever tried it. I've seen it done in Texas a lot, though. That's for sure.
Well, the reason why it works sometimes, on occasion, is if they're properly designed and properly styled.
Okay.
You can take a jean material and make it into a trouser, a nice denim material, and make it into a trouser, and it will work. The problem with saying that denim jeans are okay, is then you have torn denim jeans.
Yes.
And then some people take it a bit too far.
Nobody wants
and
that.
once again, you need some good judgment there.
Definitely love it. All right, let's wrap up with our 19th hole question, which we asked to all our guests. So you've gotten into the clubhouse after a round of golf. The hat comes off. What is your go-to order, your favorite meal and drink to have at the 19th hole?
Well, let me tell you a story. The first time Arnold Palmer went into a bar
Love Arnie.
and said to the waitress, "Could you give me a glass with some ice and about 2/3 iced tea, and then top it off with 1/3 of lemonade?" The waitress looked down at him and said, "Oh, you want an Arnold Palmer?" And he was so taken aback. He didn't say, "I'm Arnold Palmer." He said, "That's exactly what I want." So that's probably my go-to drink.
Can't beat an AP to end the day. I love it. Marty, thank you so much for hopping on the Course of Life. Best of luck with everything at the show. And Mr. Style, as always, thank you.
Alex, great. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.